I was live streaming a ghost hunt in the middle of the night when I connected with a highly decomposed female corpse. Her features were flattened, pus oozing from her eyes, nose, and mouth. A horrific, bizarre death. "Ma'am, how long have you been dead? Your death seems unusual." The chat immediately exploded, because the woman they were seeing was Lena, the A-list actress. The moment the words left my mouth, my livestream chat was flooded with hate. What is this streamer even talking about? Is she saying my idol Lena is dead? She's the one who looks like a corpse. No filter. God have mercy. My name is Talia, and I'm a recent graduate of the Academy of the Paranormal. I finished at the bottom of my class, so finding a job wasn't exactly easy. I heard live streaming ghost hunts was popular lately, so I decided to give it a shot. Live ghost hunting. $50 a session. I figured a price that low would attract some customers. 2 hours in, I'd had a grand total of 5 viewers, and they all got scared off. I don't use any lights, so I stream from this eerie darkness. They said I looked more like the ghost. Then, my 6th viewer kindly suggested I try connecting with other streamers to boost my numbers. I never imagined my first co-stream would be with a corpse. The second I connected with Lena, my stream blew up in a way I never expected. I watched in shock as the little icons in the top right corner multiplied until they couldn't fit on the screen. Which led to my opening question. After hearing me, Lena blinked, and the pus on her face seemed to flow even faster. I felt like I could smell the overwhelming stench of decay right through the screen. "Honey, what's your name?" I was busy on another phone, Googling who Lena was, as I mumbled a reply. "I'm Talia, a recent graduate from the Academy of the Paranormal. Just a nobody. A ghost hunter who just learned how to live stream. Ghost hunting again? Can we just ban these superstitious streams already? $50 a pop. I wouldn't give her 50 cents. This is obviously fake. Saying our beloved actress is dead." Lena seemed to smile. A faint hint of amusement, visible only to me, flickered across her pus-covered face. "Then tell me, how long have I been dead?" Looking at this level of decomposition, I'd say 3 days. I answered all business. Just then, a recent photo of Lena popped up on my phone. It must have been from an event right before she died. Even then, she already looked exhausted and gaunt. Her forehead, which should have been smooth and full, was shrouded in a thick, dark mist. The streamer's story is already falling apart. Our girl was on set filming just yesterday. Yeah, the president of her fan club just dropped off a truckload of coffee for the crew yesterday. The fan club president posted about it on X. Said she got to hug Lena, and that she's even more beautiful in person. She couldn't have been alive yesterday. "Something is wrong," I muttered, doing a quick calculation with my fingers. Now the chat was cursing out my entire family tree. The woman on my screen didn't have a face anymore, so I couldn't read her expression. I stared at the photo of the actress on my phone, thinking how honored I'd be to connect with her if she were still alive. I couldn't help but sigh. "Ma'am, you're so beautiful." The chat went wild again. Whoa, did this just turn into a WLW drama? Is this my reward for staying up until 3 a.m.? Ship it. Ship it. Ship it. Can you guys stop? She's happily married to Oliver Stone. I glanced at the comments. A lot of people were coming in from the homepage recommendations. I looked at the viewer count again. Over 5,000 people. Honestly, I was a little freaked out. But not as freaked out as I was by the rotting corpse staring back at me. "Ma'am, how did you die?" Or maybe, "How can I help you?" You must be using some kind of glamour on them. They can't see the real you, but I can. The chat was still railing against me. But Lena. It seemed like she really wanted to tell me something. I saw her mouth open, and clumps of rotting flesh and pus fell out. "Are you asking me to help you pass on?" I asked loudly. The next second, a man's hand reached for the screen on the other side. The other stream shook violently. A few seconds later, a handsome man's face appeared in the feed. OMG. It's the A-list actor Oliver Stone. My insomnia was worth it tonight. I get to see the power couple together. My mom is your biggest fan. She's loved you guys for years. Oliver curled his lips into that famous heartthrob smile. Hello to all our fans in the stream, and good evening to the streamer on the other side. The star was surprisingly polite. But to me, Oliver was covered in a foul, dark energy. To everyone else, he looked normal. To me, he was shrouded in a black fog, and his eyes glowed with an unnatural red light. To put it simply, he was still human, but not for much longer. He was being haunted by a demon. Then, I watched as Oliver leaned in and, without a hint of disgust, kissed the corpse next to him, his red eyes glowing strangely. OMG. A real-life couple being this sweet is killing me. I'm screen recording this. Screenshotting. Mr. Stone, please don't end the stream. You're surrounded by a dark aura. A demon is latched onto you. I can't save your wife, but maybe I can still save you. What is with this streamer? First, she says the actress is dead. Now she's saying the actor is possessed. She's the one who's possessed. I'm a ghost hunter. Ghosts are afraid of me. Why would they possess me? The chat. Hearing my words, Oliver froze. This couple. One a corpse, the other possessed by a demon. What in the world happened to them? I held up a printed QR code for my Venmo. $50 a session, no refunds. Not only did the chat explode, but even Oliver let out a laugh. Honey, should we scan it? He asked the corpse of Lena gently. Let's help out the new streamer. Lena actually sent me $50. I cleared my throat awkwardly. If Ms. Hale needs a ritual too, that'll be another $50. I'm dying. Is this streamer running a scam? If it's this easy to get money from celebrities, I'm starting a live stream too. Get lost, streamer. Lena sent another $50. Alright, it's getting late. Everyone should get some rest. Then she quickly ended the stream. Just then, someone requested to connect with me. When I accepted, a short-haired girl with a sharp, energetic look appeared. She said she was Lena's #1 fan. Hey, streamer. Thanks for nothing. How dare you curse my idol? I'm going to her house right now to see for myself that she's perfectly fine. I wanted to stop her, not because she was being impulsive, but because I was afraid she was walking into mortal danger. Don't go. She scoffed. I'm almost there. The comments blew up again. Are you crazy, you stalker fan? It's the middle of the night. Leave them alone. Wait, how do you know where they live? Are you working with the fake ghost hunter to get clout? Her? Me? While everyone was arguing, the short-haired girl, Angie her username, got out of a cab. From her screen, it looked like she was inside some high-end, gated community. Angie somehow slipped past security and walked toward Lena's house like she'd been there 100 times. I had a feeling Angie was more than just a #1 fan. Angie, you can get into their house? I asked, my suspicion growing. I'll just hop the wall. I'll just peek in, make sure she's okay, and leave. I won't bother them. With that, she turned her phone away. When the picture stabilized again, she had already jumped into the house's private yard. Wait a minute, isn't that Angie girl Lena's old assistant? For real. I just Googled it, I think it is. You're trespassing. They could sue you. My heart was pounding in my throat. If Oliver was still watching the streams, he would have seen Angie arrive at his house. Holy crap. Suddenly, Angie let out a scream. Her screen went dark, then flashed back on. WTF, WTF, WTF. Oh my God. What was that? Angie, run. I and everyone in the chat saw something absolutely terrifying. A head flashed across the screen in mid-air. It had no features, just a mass of oozing pus. In the dead of night, with Angie's phone shaking, it looked like a found-footage horror film. Then, all we could hear was Angie's ragged breathing. The camera was just a blur of shaking shadows. We had no idea what she was seeing. Angie, what's going on over there? I muted my mic and typed the message out to her. After about 5 minutes, Angie's voice finally came through. Lena's fine. Everyone can go home now. But she didn't show her face on camera. Are you sure? I unmuted myself. But she didn't say another word. This streamer will say anything for clout. I'm reporting this channel right now. Get her banned. But what was that head we saw? Can someone please explain that? The other streamer's phone was just shaky. We probably just saw a blur. The comments were still buzzing. Suddenly, Angie's feed cut out. Viewers from her stream flooded mine, saying she'd ended her broadcast. Then my screen went black. My channel had been reported. Can you believe it? My very first livestream ended in a spectacular failure. At least I made 2 sales. I managed to find Lena and Oliver's birth information online and did a quick astrological reading. In just a minute, I confirmed that Lena was, in fact, gone. So why did Angie say she was fine? Did she really see her? I couldn't stream, but I could still send direct messages. I sent Angie countless messages, but she never replied. So, she thought I was a scammer like everyone else? I never heard back from Angie, but I did get a DM from Oliver's official account. Hi, this is Oliver. I need your help. The truth is, I knew something was wrong with my wife last night. The next morning, I followed the address Oliver sent me to a film set on the outskirts of the city. The A-lister had sent me a flurry of messages. He said Lena had been filming recently, and they weren't supposed to be seen together in public. But last night was strange. Lena had come home without any warning. She moved without a sound, had a strange smell, and was constantly dripping water. Because she never stood up, the livestream audience hadn't noticed. Before that, he and Lena hadn't seen each other for months. Actors like them disappear into their roles for months at a time. At first, he just thought it was odd. But after seeing her connect with me and hearing what I said, he got more and more scared. After the stream, he made an excuse to sleep in his study and secretly messaged me. You have to help me. Mr. Stone, don't worry. I'll help you. After all, you did pay me $50. As soon as I got to the set, I started a new live stream. Didn't we get her channel banned last night? How is she live again? This platform's bans only last 24 hours max. OMG. I see Lena. I'd done my research last night. Lena started acting at 18 and worked tirelessly for a decade before winning her first major award. In her busiest year, she shot 5 movies. Last year, she even went to Hollywood to represent our country in a film. How could someone so wonderful just be gone? I waited for her to finish her scene. Even as a corpse, she was a true professional on set. After filming, she said something to the crew, and the director cleared the set. Soon it was just the two of us. Miss Hale, do you have any unfinished business? Were you murdered? Or was it? My reading told me Lena's death was an accident, but I couldn't determine the specific cause. Lena's body was even more decayed than it had been last night. The overpowering stench of death was enough to make you gag. But I could faintly see tears of blood streaming from her pus-filled eye sockets. Did she have some powerful, unfulfilled wish keeping her here? My idol. What is that streamer doing? Don't hurt my Lena. As the chat flooded with frantic comments, she flew through the air, lunging at me. I pulled the peachwood sword from my back and swung it at her. She was agile, parrying my every move. But streams of pus kept flying toward me. I tried my best to dodge, but a glob of it seared a large patch of my skin. Honey, I can't leave yet. Why not? Oliver. Oliver? I got it. Her powerful attachment was Oliver. Maybe she wanted a few more days with him, or had something left to say, or something left to do with him. But Oliver wanted her to pass on with dignity. Otherwise, he wouldn't have privately asked me to come and perform the ritual. I'm sorry, but my job is to perform the ritual and help you pass on peacefully. My sword sent her staggering back, and I finally saw my chance to begin the incantation. But I was only halfway through the chant when I felt a wave of malevolent energy rush in from nearby. Then, an unnaturally huge cloud of black energy enveloped Lena. Her entire being, or rather her pus-dripping corpse, seemed to burst into flames. She let out a series of skin-crawling screams, her form twisting and shrinking with each agonizing cry, until she vanished from before my eyes. And me, before I could even process what had just happened, I felt a sharp blow to the back of my neck, and everything went black. When I woke up, I was in a hospital. Several police officers in uniform were standing around my bed. I rubbed my neck and struggled to sit up. I heard an officer say I was a suspect in the murder of the actress Lena Hale, and that I was also connected to the disappearance of her former assistant, Angie. What evidence do you have? I asked, completely baffled. I definitely wasn't Lena's killer. And Angie was missing? What was going on? An officer picked up my phone and showed me the back end of my live streaming account. The entire process of you murdering Lena was recorded on your live stream. So, while I was performing the ritual on Lena, everyone else saw me killing her. Because besides me, No one could see that she was already a corpse. No. You can't arrest me. I suddenly thought of someone, Oliver. Mr. Stone can vouch for me. He's the one who asked me to perform the ritual for Lena. Hearing this, the officer gave a grim laugh. He handed my phone back to me. Only then did I see that Oliver was currently live streaming. On camera, he was sobbing, telling the world about how I, a deranged streamer, had publicly murdered his wife. He was a mess of tears and snot, his performance utterly convincing. If I wasn't the person he was accusing, I might have been moved too. I checked my DMs again. His messages from last night were gone. Well, this was great. I was completely and utterly screwed. Ever since I was a kid, I could see things. The other side. This gift has always been a huge burden. Ma'am, you have a little ghost on your back. Grandpa, why hasn't your granddaughter's spirit moved on yet? My parents thought I was creepy, and I never had any friends. And now, I was being treated like a murderer, about to be hauled away by the cops. On the way to the station, I closed my eyes and did a quick reading. Oliver's birth chart was a mess, a classic doomed to fail type. By all rights, not only should he have never become a famous actor, he should have had trouble even making ends meet in the entertainment industry. My vision flashed with a kaleidoscope of colors. A cold sweat dripped from my head down my entire body. My face must have gone pale, because the officer next to me asked if I was okay. I suddenly snapped my eyes open, faked a stomachache, and slipped out of a small window in a roadside restroom. As I ran, I couldn't stop thinking. I had seen from the very beginning that something was deeply wrong with Oliver. Why had I never suspected him? If Angie was missing, it was highly likely she disappeared after going to his house. I frantically scrolled through news articles about Oliver on my phone. The news said he was grieving the loss of his wife and had temporarily suspended all work. That meant he probably wouldn't be leaving the house anytime soon. He'd be at home. But there was no way I could find an A-list actor's address online. They were celebrities. They'd live in a place with top-notch security, and they'd be smart enough to have location services turned off. Time was running out. I had to find that place, and fast. Just as I was starting to panic, I remembered my DMs with Angie. She'd had her location sharing on. She was only about 5 miles away from me. I looked up high-end residential communities within a 5-mile radius. There was a very exclusive one. That had to be it. By the time I reached the community, a powerful, foul energy was pulling me forward. I found Oliver's house with almost no effort. It was on the ground floor, with a beautiful yard out front. If I wasn't mistaken, that yard used to be full of hundreds of green plants. But now every single one was dead and withered. As night fell, the place felt even more sinister and evil. I was still trying to figure out how to get into the yard when I remembered Angie's boast from the livestream about hopping the wall. I copied her, but halfway up the wall, I saw Oliver passed out in the yard. My phone was hanging around my neck. I immediately started a new livestream. WTF? Didn't this streamer get arrested? How is she live again? Hey, there's someone on the ground. Who is that? She didn't go after Oliver, did she? Everyone, I'm starting this stream to prove I didn't kill anyone. Lena was already dead. Don't let the glamour fool you. I tried to hurry, but I lost my footing and tumbled hard from the top of the wall. I scrambled to my feet and rushed over to Oliver, slapping his face frantically. I needed him to wake up and tell me exactly what happened. Suddenly, an icy touch sent a shiver down my spine. Someone was holding a knife to my throat from behind. Don't move. A low growl came from behind me. Angie. I didn't dare turn around, terrified she'd kill me in a moment of panic. I could feel her body trembling, radiating danger. You killed Lena, didn't you? Of course. She also thought I was the murderer. No. It was my first time having a knife held to my throat, and I was terrified. But I couldn't let everyone misunderstand me. I told you Lena had been dead for 3 days. I only went to her film set because Oliver'd met me. My goal was to perform a ritual to help her pass on. But then this mysterious force. Angie suddenly kicked me hard. I don't want to hear your excuses. Her eyes were bloodshot and terrifying. Bring her back to life. What? I turned my head and saw Lena's corpse, lying stiffly on the ground. I thought Lena had been turned to dust. She hadn't, but her body was now in pieces. I looked back and saw Angie's face, contorted with grief. Yuishi. My mind flashed back to the articles I'd seen about Lena and Angie's rumored romance. I hadn't thought much of it at the time and just scrolled past. Then I remembered something else. When I was performing the ritual for Lena, the last thing she said, "It wasn't Oliver. It was Angie." A horrifying realization hit me. I gaped speechless. OMG, you guys, Angie's love is making me cry. I remember she was with Lena for years, from the very beginning. They were always together, a really strong friendship in the industry. I know. I heard Angie was suddenly replaced about 6 months ago. Why was she replaced? Any gossip? Maybe they were too close and Oliver got jealous? I gazed at the shattered, reassembled corpse and shook my head. It's impossible now. Angie was lost in her own world of grief, sobbing uncontrollably, completely unaware of the danger creeping closer. Look out! Before both Angie and I were knocked unconscious, I saw him. Or rather, the demon. Its mouth stretched from ear to ear as it grinned a bloody, terrifying smile at me. Ah. Chat shield. God protect us. What is that thing? Is that a person, or am I crazy? It looks like Oliver. When I came to, Angie and I were hanging from the wall in the center of the living room. I was starting to think I had a real talent for bad luck. My first time out as a ghost hunter, and not only did I fail to catch a ghost, I was about to become one's dinner. I rolled my aching neck and quickly surveyed the room's layout. This house was built facing away from the sun, making it a natural magnet for dark energy. From a thick black fog, Oliver emerged, draped in a black robe, and slowly approached us. "So you were the one who killed Lena," Angie said, her voice weak. At this point, even a fool could see that Oliver was far from normal. His entire body glowed a bloody red, devoid of any human warmth. His features were twisted and grotesque, his pupils dilating and constricting erratically as he stared at me with a terrifying hunger. It was clear now. The demon had been possessing him since the first time I saw him. And this demon probably had centuries of power. He wouldn't be easy to deal with. "Oliver, you'll pay for this." Angie screamed at him. "Lena was so good to you, and you actually..." His head, shrouded in the black robe, bobbed as he doubled over with laughter. The sound was chilling, like a broken record player. Oliver didn't care about being cursed. Because he wasn't Oliver. The next second, the demon lunged forward and wrapped a hand around Angie's throat. For him, crushing her would be as easy as squashing an ant. But I was gambling that he didn't want us to die too quickly. "You." Angie choked, unable to breathe. The demon's eyes glowed a brighter, more intense red. "You vile demon. You plan to use Oliver's body for a fate-swapping ritual." The moment I said it, the demon paused. He looked at me, almost amused, probably surprised to find out I was a real ghost hunter. "Fate-swapping?" Angie gasped, sweat pouring down her face. "What's that?" If my calculations are correct, this house is the most heavy spot in the entire neighborhood. Someone who knows what they're doing has driven 49 bone nails into the 5 most heavy spots in the house. Then, you sacrifice a person with the strongest life force and purest yang energy in this location to complete a transfer of fate. Oliver's luck was already boosted just by being with someone with a strong life force. He got an unexpected career lift. But after a complete fate-swapping ritual, he would have a life of endless fortune and success. I turned my head to look at Lena's corpse, which was hanging on the wall just like us. Ah, is this kind of thing even real? So Oliver really was possessed? We totally misjudged the streamer. She actually knows her stuff. Can you guys stop spamming and someone call the cops? Angie processed my words, her eyes flying wide with horror. 49 bone nails, whose bones? I closed my eyes, unable to look at her. They're Lena's. Carved from her own body and placed in the right positions. That's the only way to complete this dark, evil ritual. "I'll kill you." Angie shrieked, breaking down completely. One of my hands was free. I stealthily pulled out the spirit mirror I always carry and pointed it at Lena's corpse. My skills were only strong enough to use the spirit mirror on the dead. The mirror not only repels evil and reveals spirits, but it can also show glimpses of the past and future. I saw a flood of images from Lena's life. Angie had been with Lena since she first started out, sticking by her side as she went from a nobody to a star. They'd struggled together, suffered together, and were closer than anyone. Until Oliver, an actor who had been stuck in C-list roles forever, suddenly appeared in Lena's life. He was devoted, passionate, and hopelessly in love, even waiting for her all night in freezing weather on set just to hand her a warm cup of tea. But Lena's heart already belonged to someone else. It was Angie who persuaded her, again and again, to choose a man who loved her and live a good, normal life. Eventually, Lena agreed to be with Oliver. 3 months later, they had a flash wedding. After the marriage, Oliver's career took off. He was flooded with offers and soon won the industry's highest award. It was just as I'd suspected. The demon had approached Oliver when he was a nobody and made a deal with him. But it probably left out the part about eventually taking over his body and kicking his soul out for good. After making his deal with the demon, Oliver's career began to flourish. He only married the award-winning actress Lena because he coveted her incredibly auspicious birth chart. He wooed her with lies and married her for it. When it was time for the demon to take over his body, it needed the bone nails from Lena's. There was one thing I didn't have the heart to tell Angie. To harvest the bone nails, the victim had to be alive and fully conscious. One by one, they would be carved out, bone and blood, ripped from her living body. How much pain she must have been in. Now that I had exposed his entire plan, the demon cackled, a creepy, horrifying sound that echoed through the villa. It doesn't matter. You're all just sacrifices tonight. My dinner. Angie and I were just dessert, served up on a silver platter. So is this real or just a performance? This is so crazy. It's gotta be fake. Did anyone call the cops? Maybe we should cancel the call? Are you kidding me? Calling 911 isn't a joke. I did a quick mental calculation. The demon was planning to completely take over Oliver's body tonight. Midnight, the hour of the rat, is when energy is at its peak. The perfect time for the exchange. Angie was sobbing, heartbroken. The body of the person she loved most was right in front of her, and she couldn't even touch her. I was wrong, so wrong. I thought if I just pushed her toward a man, she could have a normal life. She was a star, and I was just nobody. 2 women together. People would have laughed at us, right? I swallowed hard. Maybe. She just wanted to be with you. It didn't matter what people called it, as long as it was you. When I was performing her ritual, the last name she whispered was yours. After saying that, I took the knife I'd snatched from Angie in the chaos, gritted my teeth, and sliced it across my other arm without hesitation. Blood gushed out instantly. No. This fate-swapping ritual was treacherous. The altar could not be tainted by blood. 1 drop, and most of the spell would be ruined. That's why, from the moment I woke up hanging on the wall, I knew the demon wouldn't kill us right away. He would wait until the ritual was truly complete before making his move. The demon tore me down from the wall. Furious that I had ruined his masterpiece, he threw me across the room, then slammed me back and forth. After a few rounds, I felt like my body was about to fall apart. He reached for my chest, intending to rip my heart out with his bare hands. But the moment his hand touched my blood, he screamed in agony. See, I told you ghosts were afraid of me. OMG. This streamer is a total badass. I called the cops. I hope they get there in time. Just then my phone died and the live stream cut out. No. I can't let you hurt anyone else. I saw the demon clutch his face and howl in pain, then stagger backward. I froze for a second, then it hit me. The real Oliver wasn't completely gone. He was fighting to get his body back from the demon. Are you insane? The demon regained control. You greedy fool. You knew your fate was cursed, so you asked for my help. I helped you marry an A-list actress with a perfect birth chart, become a star, and live in a mansion. And now that I'm asking for your body in return, you refuse? Oliver seized control again. I regret it. Ha ha ha, too late. After figuring all this out, there was still one question I couldn't answer. Why did Oliver DM me in the first place, asking me to find Lena and perform a ritual? I guess the person who sent that message was Oliver himself. Even with the demon possessing him, his own consciousness would surface in fleeting moments. In the end, he must have regretted it. Even though he had only approached Lena for fame and fortune, When he finally understood the demon's true goal, of course he would regret the terrible mistake he had made. While Oliver and the demon fought for control, I noticed my peachwood sword had been snapped in half. The demon must have done it. But then, Oliver managed to kick the broken half of the sword toward me. Quick! A single tear escaped from the corner of Oliver's eye. Lena, I'm so sorry. Ignoring the searing pain, I grabbed the peachwood sword and began chanting at the possessed body. I am the celestial eye, one with the heavens. My gaze is lightning. My light pierces the 8 corners of the world. I see through all. Nothing can hide. By this sacred law, obey. As I finished the chant, a gale force wind whipped through the room. The demon and Oliver flickered back and forth, a blur of 2 entities in one body. They were enduring unimaginable pain, a torment so great that tears of blood streamed from the body's eyes. But, with my sword broken, its power was greatly diminished. And besides, I really did graduate at the bottom of my class. So the demon still managed to push Oliver out. It lunged at me, ready to destroy me. Go to hell, you little brat. In that split second, I squeezed my eyes shut, bracing for the end. Suddenly, a peachwood axe came chopping down. The demon was thrown back, reeling from the blow. I opened my eyes and saw Angie holding the axe. She must have just grabbed the first weapon she could find, with no idea that a peachwood axe was just as effective against ghosts. Thank you for saving me. I took the axe from her, and just as the demon was about to flee, I swung it with all my might and buried it in his back. 3 months later, I started a new live stream. The ghost hunting streamer is back. Where have you been all this time? After that night, the medical examiner confirmed my story that Lena had been dead for 3 days. Her limbs had been brutally broken, and she had bled to death. I was no longer a suspect. As for Oliver, the me ruled his death was from sudden cardiac arrest. It was a bizarre end, but one most people could accept. The demon? I managed to subdue it with the peachwood axe, but I was worried my powers weren't strong enough to stop it from reviving someday. So I immediately took it back to the academy and handed it over to my master. After that, I traveled around, capturing minor spirits and helping some ghosts with deep-seated resentments pass on, slowly strengthening my own abilities. I was back on stream today to perform a ritual, to help someone leave this world with dignity. It was for Angie. Crying emoji. Angie will miss you. I'm so sorry we had to meet you this way. Angie had sent me a DM before she died. By the time I got there, it was too late to save her. She chose to be with Lena. After I finished her final ritual, I turned off the stream. I took out my spirit mirror and held it over her body. Her past, all her memories, were filled with one person, Lena. When Lena was at her lowest, lost and unsure if she should even continue as an actress, it was Angie who worked herself to the bone. She barely ate, saving every penny to buy Lena good food and nice clothes, accompanying her to countless auditions, pushing her to keep going until a director finally discovered her. Angie was the only person in the world who believed Lena could make it. Years later, when Lena stood on that stage, accepting her award, she said, "There is one more person I want to thank the most, and that person is in the audience tonight." Back home, they held each other and cried. Tears of joy, after so much hardship. But after that night, rumors about her and Lena started spreading online. Angie didn't want to tarnish the brilliant career Lena had fought so hard for, so she finally chose to push her away, thinking it was for the best. The last image I saw in the mirror was of Angie, holding Lena's pus-covered, decaying body, her own body trembling as she cried and kissed her. We'll meet again in the next life. In the next life, I promise I'll marry you. Suddenly, I felt like I could see a field of flowers blooming all around them. Look, the lilies in their hometown, they're finally in bloom. The end.